This is a video about how to tell time in Mandarin. You should watch this video and take notes for next class. Before we dive into the language aspect of time, notice that in China, the whole country is all one time zone. So when it is 10 o'clock on the East Coast, it is technically 10 o'clock on the west border. This means that for the people in the western half of China, the sun doesn't rise until very late. Why do you think the government of China made this decision? What problems do you think the people in the West face because of this? Write down your ideas and we'll share them tomorrow in class. Telling time in Chinese. The first word you should know is hours, and the word for hour is dian. The word dian means dot, and so each major dot on the clock is an hour. Dian, dian. So when we ask what time is it, we use ji, how many, and we're going to ask how many dots. We've seen ji before when we ask how old are you, ni ji sui, or when we ask what's the date, ji yue ji hao, how many moons, how many days, or when we ask what day of the week, xing qi ji, day of the week, how many. When we say what time is it, we say ji dian, how many dots. 现在 means right now. So to ask what time is it, we say 现在几点? Right now, how many dots, how many hours? And you would answer 现在12点 or just 12点 if it was noon. I'm going to show some clocks. Please write down the times in your notes. So this is the first clock, so please write number 1 and the time. You can write it in pinyin or characters. Clock number 2. Clock number 3. Clock number 4. Clock number 5. Clock number 6. Clock number 7. The only tricky part of saying the time in Chinese is 2 o'clock. We don't say 2点. We're going to say 2点 for 2 o'clock. The character for 点, hours, can also mean dots, and it comes from a picture of a fireplace and a chimney. And the 4 dots on the bottom, which is the fire radical, were originally indicated dots of soot. Ban means half. So when we want to say 12:30, we would say 12点半. To say 3:30, we would say 3点半. To say 5:30, we would say 5点半. And to say 10:30, we would say 10点半. To say quarters of an hour, we use the word 刻 for quarters. 一刻 is for 15. 三刻 is for 3 quarters, so 45. I'm going to show you some clocks. Please write down the times in your notes. For example, for this time you would say 12:15 or 12点一刻. Clock number 1. Clock number 2. Clock number 3. Clock number 4. Clock number 5. If you want to say specific minutes that aren't the half or the quarters, you're going to use the word 分, which means bits and pieces or minutes. And it has the knife radical because it has a picture of something that's been cut into bits and pieces by the knife. So to say 6:18, we would say 6点, 6 o'clock. 18分, 18 minutes. When we're using time in sentences, we're going to follow the word order Steve-o. To help you remember this, choose a Steve or a Steve-o, whichever one speaks to you culturally. Steve-o stands for subject, time, verb, object. This is the word order you're going to use in Chinese. So, the subject could be something like I or the time when you do something like 10 o'clock, 10点. The verb could be hit or play, and then basketball with the object. 我10点打篮球. We'll practice this a lot in class. So if we were to ask, what time do you wake up? We would say, 你几点起床? And you would answer, 我6点起床. And if we were to ask, what time do you go to sleep? We would say, 你几点睡觉? We would answer, 我8点睡觉, if we were like 6 years old. You've gotten to the end. You're incredible. 你很棒.